started. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is HD Rhodes coming live and direct. Let me go ahead and get the music off, man. That was my favorite content creator, Matthew Plant. Telling you guys, got to cop that junk. Man, it's one of my favorite songs. It's actually one of the first songs here on my morning gospel jam. Just the way I get ready for the day is how I get my energy, is how I get juiced, I get pumped, and I just, man, I start feeling it, man, and just allows me mentally, spiritually, physically, man, to just get ready for what God's called me to do. A lot of you guys know I used to be big time in running businesses. Started in business a long time ago. Don't want to talk too much about that because I want to keep all the glory going to God. But the Lord blessed me to go ahead and make a shift. And forgive me, I'm going to stand up for a little bit during this presentation. God blessed me to go ahead and make a shift. And the shift that He blessed me to make was to be able to go in from running business, quote unquote, as an urban entrepreneur, to being able to learn how to run a real business through direct sales. Some people like to call it network marketing. And you know what? Let me just go ahead and get straight to the point. You know what? Network marketing is the only industry I've ever seen where it can take anybody. It doesn't matter what your background, as long as you have a dream and a goal and a strong desire and passion to be successful. That would be number one. Number two, as long as you have a work ethic. You know, when I say work ethic, I mean, man, if you have military background, if you play sports at a high level professionally, university, I mean, Olympic, man, you understand what I'm talking about, work ethic. If you're one of those people who's kind of like, top in a major corporation, you're an executive board, that's the kind of work ethic I'm talking about. You know, if you went to medical school and you went through, your bachelor's, and then you went ahead and you went and did, all the steps you had to do. And I'm not a medical professional, so forgive me, I don't know all the exact steps of a medical professional, but I can tell you from a business standpoint, if you went to business school, you got your bachelor's, and then you went and for additional schooling and got your MBA, that's what I'm talking about. You have the commitment, okay? You had to take direction, so I know you're coachable and teachable. Okay. And I know you had a big dream, because to be able to be in school for 6 to 7 years, or a doctor 8 years, the one thing I know about you is you have the discipline. And that's what we're looking for right now. Today is the very last day of the pre-launch for one of the premier opportunities, I believe, on the planet. We're talking about a business platform that spans 160 countries around the globe. We're talking about 70,000 successful entrepreneurs have already decided to opt in. And what are they opting in? You know what it is? It's for the opportunity to be able to bless the people they know, their friends, their family, their loved ones, their colleagues, to be able to plug into a platform that's going to give you the mentorship, the training, the tools, and the resources. When I say resources, money is obviously one of those resources. They have venture capitalists, and last but not least, if all you need is branding, you already have this all, massage. You've spent years developing your product, your service, your business idea, and you just need help with the branding. They got that too. So without any further ado, I'm going to get started on this fantastic presentation. Y'all stay on this live. You guys can go ahead and watch me go ahead and present this presentation. I'm hitting record. So if you decide at the end of this, you're like, hey, HD, I checked into your live. Man, it sounds great, man. Do you mind sending me that recording? I have some friends or family who are either entrepreneurs, they're educators, they're authors, or you know what? They're just somebody, who has a big vision and dream. And all they've been looking is for a home, a place to have people help them to go ahead and hone their skill set and put them on a platform where they have the accessibility online, okay, plus the visibility to hundreds of thousands of customers, if not soon to be millions of customers who are already pre-qualified, ready to be able to buy that idea, that dream, okay, that product. Well, then this is the place for you. So I'm HD Rhodes. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. You guys can go ahead and stay on this live and listen to me. I appreciate you guys joining me today as I get ready to get started. So hey, how are you guys doing? Thank you guys for coming to this Zoom meeting today. I'm HD Rhodes. This is a picture of me. This is my YouTube channel. Make sure you guys click, like, and subscribe. You guys want to definitely tie in into my content. My whole goal today is to be able to empower you. I want to open up a door to you guys to your future. One thing in which I have one of my mentors tell me a long time ago is if you want to be successful, okay, success only comes All right. When you have opportunity, okay. When you have to have opportunity first to be successful, okay. You have opportunity and you have the timing and you're prepared. Okay. When preparedness meets opportunity, that is the combination that literally can catapult you from where you are to you want to go. You know what? That's the same opportunity you talk about a Tyler Perry. You know, if you go back and look at the background of Tyler Perry, sleeping in his cars, had a vision, had dreams, had gifts. All he needed was that opportunity. Okay. And when he had that right opportunity and he was prepared for it, now look at him now. Okay. And that's where you are right now. You're right now at the crux. You literally had a why in your life. You know, you've been going down. I'm gonna talk real quick about, you know, some of the trends in which we're facing. You know, the trends that have got us to where we are today. You know, if you go back and look at literally a century and a half ago, we went from the agricultural age, you know, to go to the by boat, by ship, by plane, by train. In the Industrial Revolution, what happened is it presented a unique opportunity in history where you could go ahead and stake your claim. A lot of people, as they moved west, they went to North America. They had the American dream. They were able to participate in the Industrial Revolution, and there was billions of dollars created. You know, when you look at, you know, people who came from Europe, you have people who came from Africa and Asia, all over the world. You have people like the DuPonts, you have the Rockefellers, you look at the Gates, the Gettys, you look at the Vanderbilts. There was a great amount of wealth that was created in this huge transition of this era, going from the agricultural age, okay, to industrial revolution. And as there was a shift in that trend going now to streamline distribution, you've seen a boom in wealth that was created. Millionaires seem like they're, you know, becoming millionaires overnight. And it wasn't overnight. A lot of people went from zero to making seven, eight, and nine figures, you know, in a time of 12 to 24, you know, months to 5 years. And you know, you have to understand there's people in the previous decades and centuries before it would have took them a whole lifetime to be able to do that. You know, as that shifted, what happened is when we went through streamlined distribution, all it was imagine the products and services that used to be shipped by railroad and by plane going from the East Coast to the West Coast. There was a chain of business distribution for products and services that took place. Now, when it was streamlined, all what happened was they started cutting out the middleman. And those companies, those entrepreneurs who placed themselves in a strategic position to go ahead and be in the middle of this transaction, you know, imagine them becoming literally like a master broker. Okay. All that money that used to flow, they were able to tap in. It's like a surfer being able to get on the right wave at the right time. And he was able to cash in on the best wave. These entrepreneurs, these families, these businesses were able to cash in at the right time, at the right place. Give you a perfect example. As we move to the dot-com era, Jeff Bezos is a perfect example. He's seen in his mind, he could see where the future was going. And he had one goal. He goes, you know what? I'm not going to just build a library in my garage. Imagine me creating the greatest bookstore, but not physically, but online. And you look at today, you know, now Amazon is not just a bookstore, but it's one of the greatest providers for toys. And they're putting Toys R Us, and the Toys R Us has laid off, you know, like I said yesterday, hundreds of millions of employees. They're shutting down their retail stores. You look at a lot of the stores that people used to go to get books. I remember when I was in college 30 years ago, we used to go to Barnes and Nobles because it had a chapters connected to it. You know, in Canada, down in the States, Barnes and Nobles was connect. I'm sorry, Starbucks was connected to Barnes and Nobles. Up here in Canada, Chapters is connected to Starbucks. And what happens is in this symbiotic agreement, the collaboration between the bookstore and the coffee shop, you look at Starbucks is now winning around the world. This is what we're talking about. Opportunity meets preparedness. Okay. Now we've went from the dot-com era to social media, where you have people who are able to live stream like I'm doing right now on a social media platform through Facebook. You could be through TikTok and you could be through YouTube. They're able to go from being laid off, being a single mom, being someone who just got out of prison, and literally overnight, I'm talking about in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, they're able to be a YouTube influencer, content creator, making millions of dollars. That ship has sailed, man. We're in it right now. what I want to present to you this evening, okay? Evening in some parts of the world, like I said, we're in 160 countries, okay? So it's evening somewhere in the world. On the East Coast right now, it's 3:16. Where I am right now in Vancouver, Canada, it is 12:16. Okay. You guys right now I have a once in a lifetime opportunity, a once in a lifetime opportunity to be at the right time at the right place before a multi-billion-dollar corporation is launched tonight. Okay. 12 midnight Pacific Standard Time. This global giant that I want to introduce you called Vibe. Okay. It's a platform, like I said earlier. And everyone on Facebook Live, they already heard me say this. For those on my Zoom presentation right now, this is the first time you're hearing this. Okay, this platform's in 160 countries. 70,000 entrepreneurs from around the globe have already opted in for an opportunity to be able to help their friends, their family, their colleagues, and loved ones to be able to learn how to monetize their gifts to be able to create financial freedom. Now, when I say leverage, I'm talking about imagine the power of AI. It's here. There's no doubt about it. And it's here coming so fast that hundreds of thousands of people are losing their jobs and millions of people around the world. Because honestly, you know what? As you went from a transition from the agricultural age, industrial revolution, to streamlined distribution, to the dot-com era, to the social media era, there was jobs that were being replaced because technology allowed business to become more efficient. This is your opportunity to get ahead of this trend and to be able to do something that you wish that your grandparents or great grandparents would have been. If they would have put themselves in the position that, to get in front of that huge wave of entrepreneurship and the industrial revolution, you would probably want to be on this call right now. You'd probably be sitting somewhere on an island which your family owns, maybe sitting up here waking up on a yacht right now, or you're sitting up here plotting and planning, where your family's getting ready to go. It's almost summertime. It's one of the most beautiful times of the year. Could you imagine chilling on the beach right now in San Tropez or St. Bart's? This is what I'm talking about. What's your vision? What's your dream? What's your goal? See, I don't know about you, but when I grew up, my vision and my goal wasn't to be trading time for money. And that's something that a lot of people don't understand. That was trading your time for money was a construct of the Industrial Revolution. They had a 40-40 plan. And this is what I mean by 40-40 plan. What the plan was is they were going to set up these schools, and they needed to teach people what they needed in their factories during the Industrial Revolution. So they set up these public school systems. The point of going to public school was so that you would learn a trade, you would learn a skill set, you would learn the discipline, okay, to be able to go and work for these huge factories, be able to go work in, Detroit, be able to work at a Ford Motor Company, okay, to be able to go ahead and work at Dodge, to be able to go ahead and work, in these steel mills. My grandfather, I know who my grandfather is. Thank you to my relatives and my cousins, my aunties, my father. My grandfather actually used to work for U.S. Steel. Now imagine this. I have an opportunity to become someone's grandfather and great grandfather. Okay. Someone says there's no sound coming through. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hey, there's no sound coming through. Thank you, Lyndon. Let's see how we get that fixed. You know what? I'm recording it, and I'll go ahead and send you guys the recording. Thank you for letting me know there's no sound coming through. Let's see here. What's this? Can you hear me now? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and continue the presentation. Um, if there's no sound coming through on the Facebook, I'm gonna have to figure that out for the next presentation. We're recording on Zoom Live. So back to what I was talking about, having the opportunity to literally be able to go ahead and do what, if your great grandparents would have done, right now, they would have this huge picture on the mantle, over the fireplace. They got a picture of you and your wife and the kids and the lineage from your grandfather all the way to where you are. Like the Gates, I guarantee you they have it. Like the Gettys, the DuPonts, the Vanderbilts, they all have that. This is an opportunity for you to do that. So, today we are going to talk about money. But the money we're going to talk about is just going to be some examples of basically how the compensation plan. If you've been in the mortgage industry or real estate, you understand that's one of the first things you look at, outside of the checking the integrity of the company. You want to make sure, hey, if I'm going to go ahead and put my blood, sweat, and tears and take time away from my family, I want to make sure that this company, when I sell this house or when I go ahead and I finish having this loan funded, that this company is going to pay me what they say they're going to pay me. And this basically is a disclaimer in which this company has, that's going to allow you to be able to break down and understand how their commission is paid. So just go to thevibe.io/policies, and you'll be able to get all your information there. They even got a comp plan for you to read. You can go ahead and do your diligence on that. So let me go ahead and move forward. Like we were talking about before, anytime you want to look at success, the first thing you got to start off is with the dream. So my ask at this point is, what is your dreams? What is your goal? What is your vision? What's the gift in which the Lord has given you, for your life? And if you're not doing anything about it, why not? There's a reason why a lot of people sometimes feel like they don't have the opportunity to be able to use the gifts and the goals in which the Lord has put forth for them. Many of people are trading time for money, and what we find is the more successful you are, depending on how you make your money, you either have a lot of time and no money, or you have a lot of money and no time. And what happens is, Robert Kiyosaki talked about this. Excuse me, I'm about to stand up because you know what? I'm a little bit older now and I got to keep my bones moving. But Robert Kiyosaki talked about this in the book, um, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And he explained that, one of the best ways for you to be able to get your time back is to be able to create an income, where you have your money working for you. And he started explaining in the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he explained this. He said, you need to develop assets. You need to spend your money on assets. And assets are things in which has money making you more money versus liability. A liability, as I talked about this weekend, means that you're putting money into something that's not making you more money. In fact, you're spending your money and then you're losing money, right? But an asset means that you're spending money on something that's producing more money. And that's what a business is. That's what an investment is. And that's why on his next book, in Cash Flow Quadrant, he was talking about one of the key things you need to learn to be successful is how to not only create assets, but to invest in assets. And he had a cash flow quadrant where he said, if you're spending your time, in a job, you trade your time for money. And the top left, it was employee. And the bottom left is self-employed. He said, all someone who's self-employed is they went ahead and bought themselves a job because there's only 24 hours in a day. They have no leverage. What you need is a business that you own that makes you money when you're asleep 24 hours a day. And this is an example of a perfect business like that it's going to allow you to have people making money for you and time making money for you. The fourth position he talked about was being able to, at that point, once you had a business established that's making money, when people are going to work, your money's going to work for you, is to start investing in investments. And some of the best investments he talked about was investing in companies. Why? Because in companies have people going to work for them and money going to work for them. So you invest your money, now your money's going to work for you. And so this is a perfect example of that with this platform, how we're going to actually help you go from employee or self-employed to being able to own your own business. And then as you're more successful through the financial education on this platform, how you're going to be able to make wise decisions and be able to look at investing and to be able to get into investing as well. Okay. So let me go to this next slide here, because we're going out of time. I already talked about this. Over 70,000 entrepreneurs have already opted in this platform. Why? The bottom line is because when's the last time you've seen a platform that had a vision that encompassed you? I'm not talking about selling lotions, potions, and makeup and protein shakes and all this. A platform that was solely created with the vision of helping you to be able to go from step one to done. Whatever your goals are, whatever your dreams are, that's what this platform is. It's for the people, the product, the purpose, and they created the perfect process. Okay, aligning you, like I said earlier, with the mentors, the training, the tools, even the branding. And you have an opportunity to be able to bring yourself before a committee, kind of like a dragon's den, for venture capitalists if you need money to be able to go ahead and fuel your goals and dreams. Okay. Um, Next slide. The mission, I already talked about that, to be able to inspire individuals to align with their true potentials, embracing meaningful connections and live boldly on their own terms. Okay. This is truly about you discovering what God put in you. What's the God given, gifts he put in you? What's the vision he gave you for your life that you've been just kind of tucking away because you've been just having to work over and over and over as an entrepreneur, trading your time for dollars. On being an entrepreneur was an option. You have bills stacking up. You had kids. You had responsibilities. This is your chance to hit the reset button and to put AI to work for you, your dreams and your goals. This is a platform where you're able to walk hand in hand. You have a mentor helping you to become successful. Okay, being able to help develop you and to demonstrate that vision is something in which is going to be able to help you to create, the abundance and the money that you need to provide for your family, and to honestly do what the Bible said, to be a good man who creates an inheritance for his children's children. What makes this platform special is it's an ecosystem. Every idea, every business, every product, every service that an entrepreneur's bringing, it just continues to grow this ecosystem with Vibe bigger and bigger and bigger. And every business, an entrepreneur who comes, they're coming with their thousands of customers. And so now you add one entrepreneur who has 1,000 customers, right? And all of a sudden it gets together with 70,000 entrepreneurs who have their thousands of customers. And what does that mean? Now you got the visibility you're looking for, okay, to be able to get your product and service to the market, okay? You say, why is that? Because what this company's doing is one of the other cool things. We're going to talk about this in 7 powerful pathways. But one of the things this company's doing, I want to talk about right here, the Vibe Spotlight. Imagine having an opportunity that, you've went through the work, you got the training, the mentorship, you went through the branding, you're ready to go ahead and to launch your company. Well, what Vibe is set up is a spotlight where now they're going to spotlight your business. Imagine it was like a commercial in which you don't even have to pay for. It's all encompassing, included with this platform. Okay. You know, Vibe Styles on top of it, after you're spotlighted, if you have music and say you have merchandise or whatever, hats, clothing, whatever, you can now even, they helped you get started. They spotlighted you so you could go out to the world, but even within the ecosystem, you're able to monetize it. I mean, you think about how ingenious this is. We already talked about the venture capitalist, the Vibe Venture. When you talked about the education, I kept talking about the training, the mentorship, that's Vibe Vault. Vibe Tribe, imagine this. Let's say that you're in a particular industry and you want the opportunity to collaborate with the best minds in your industry. As Vibe is attracting these great minds, you have an opportunity to be able to create your own community, say, of engineers, your own community of motivational speakers, your own community of gospel rappers, your own community of pastors. That's what Vibe Tribe allows you to do, to put that all together. See, it's all in there. Everything you need to go from step one to done. Vibe's thought of it. The Lord inspired it. God has brought the right leaders together to make it happen. And we're launching it today. I'm telling you, tonight at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, it's a wrap. Your opportunity to be one of the founding entrepreneurs with this huge movement. It's over tonight, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So let me go ahead and move forward and get us wrapped up because, this presentation, I don't want to go too long. I want it to only be 30 minutes at the longest. I got everyone here on Facebook Live. The cool thing, when this started, the one thing they had, it was like going to be this university of money, teaching people about finance, money. They had Forex, DeFi, crypto, live classes. They even had sports betting. When I first seen that, I was like, what? And then I found out, do you realize they even teach sports betting at the university level? They got market insights for those who are looking to learn how to invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, crypto. Man, it's awesome. Personal development. That's the one thing I remember when I was growing up, in my youth, when I had a chance to be mentored by a millionaire, the first thing he told me is if you want to be a millionaire, you want to be a millionaire, HD Rhodes, you got to learn to speak like a millionaire. You got to learn how to act like a millionaire. But to be able to do that, the first thing you need to learn is you need to learn to read like a millionaire. And I was like, wow. And he says, you want to know what a millionaire reads? He's like, yeah. And he got up. And I was thinking, I was like, well, what are you going to tell me? And when he got up, I looked behind me and he had this book. And that's the book I told you about, the very first book I read that I found in a millionaire's Porsche 911 Turbo. was Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I'll never forget it, man. It changed my life. Other outside of that, they're going to have AI and marketing tools available. Um, Faith-based community, because like we said, the goal is the one thing I said on my Facebook. You'll see on my YouTube. I had sworn that I was never getting back into business again. But when God called me to this, I was like to have the opportunity to align myself in a faith-based community in which basically we're going out and we're teaching people how to be successful in God's kingdom, that God's principle, marketplace ministry. I was like, when the Lord brought me here, I was like, Lord, give me the wisdom, give me the knowledge, send me the people that you want me to bless. And I'm like, Lord, I'm all in. And that's why we're on this live on Facebook. That's why we're on this live Zoom right now. Great thing is they even have Vibe Fitness. They're going to have your training. They have training videos, live training. Everything's recorded. Nutrition plan. I'm telling you guys out there, if you're in these industries, you need to be part of this ecosystem, or else I'm telling you, it's going to end up being everyone else is coming to this ecosystem because it's going to combine all the platforms that for a smaller price. Okay. We already talked about Vibe Global, you know, content branding, collaboration, commerce, a way to monetize your gifts. Um, Talked about the tribe, the community you're able to build. So long story short, let me wrap this up now. It's almost meeting's gone too long. Two ways you can participate. Number one, you can participate as a customer, which is basically a student. You want to come here to this entrepreneurial school of success, learning how to be able to build your brand, build your company, build your product, build your service, get it branded, all that. Perfect. Or number two, you can go ahead and partner with Vibe. That means you're an entrepreneur, and after they do all this, you go, hey, it makes sense for me to be able to monetize myself within this ecosystem, as they've also taught me how to monetize myself and be successful outside of it. And so you can go from student to entrepreneur, or go from being just a student, or you can go from being a student to entrepreneur and still a student, and then probably, and take the next step. If you get really good at what you're doing, right? Go to Vibe Global, upload your content, and not just be a content creator, but start being an educator where you're able to monetize the education of what you learn and how you're able to apply it to your industry so that you're able to help other people around the world. Imagine if you created a course. Let's just say you're a karate instructor. Say you got 20 years of karate. There's a gentleman I know who was in Taiwan for 18 years. He's seen this, goes, HD, man, this makes sense. I mean, from what you're telling me, you're showing me something that I'm going to get paid big time for doing what I love the rest of my life, which is teaching karate. I said, absolutely. I said, look, what if you only had 1,000 people on this huge platform around the globe who wanted to learn, your style of martial arts that you've been studying for the last 18 years? If you had only 1,000 people sign up for your class, right? Month one, and you charge $25, how much money is that? It's like $25,000. I go, man, how much money are you going to make this month teaching karate? He goes, man, this makes sense. Where do I get started? That's what I'm saying. Same thing with your book. Same with your skill set. Same with your gift, whatever it is. I guarantee you, in this world, in the 160 countries where this platform is going to be launched, there's thousands of people waiting for you to teach them what you know. And Vibe is the perfect opportunity for you to hone that, learn how to market that, and to be able to start making residual income when you sleep. Okay. Next part. So we already talked about customer, partner, limit the time to get started for free. That's over. Tonight's the last day in which we can talk about this. For $25, you have an opportunity to be a chartered member. Okay. One more time. For $25, you have an opportunity to be a charter member. That means you have the honor to say, I was first to invest in Google. I was first to be able to invest in Amazon. I was first to invest in Microsoft. I was first to invest in Bitcoin. You imagine you would have invested in Bitcoin when it's only 20 cents. Today, last time I looked at my Bitcoin investments, it was over $95,000 for one Bitcoin. This is the opportunity you have today. First movers in this particular opportunity, for everyone that you refer to this company who decides, they say, yes, I want to partner with you. They want to be a chartered member. So out of that $25, the greatest thing I love about this compensation plan is it's like a gym membership. Imagine if you invited your friend to the same gym to work out, to get in shape with you, and the company said, hey, every time that They pay their $25 membership. Hey, we're going to every month say thank you and send you $10. Now, wouldn't that be cool? Because you're going to go to the gym anyways. You're going to work out in the gym anyways. And if you're like me, man, I got friends who we love being able to work out together, high five, because it reminds us of the days when we used to lift weights with a football team or a basketball team. But imagine being paid for your friends going to work out with you. That's what you have with this platform. I don't know why more people want to do it. It makes just more sense. It's the smartest way to market a business. Be able to pay people thank you bucks for referring more people to your business. Okay, I'll tell you a secret. I used to do that in the mortgage industry. We won't get into that, but I didn't have to advertise. Every customer I had got financial compensation for a referral that closed out. Next thing you know, all I was doing was answering the phone, and then my wife was answering the phone, and we're just processing paperwork because there's something powerful about monetizing a thank you. They referred you business so that you're able to provide your family and you give them a thank you. Eventually, of course, you guys know the laws. I had to go to gift cards because I ended up finding out you can't be giving people money, because that's not legal. You have a product or service is the only way that you can go ahead and let money to be able to exchange hands. And that's what makes direct sales one of the most powerful financial tools, because money in direct sales does not exchange hands unless there's a product or service. Just like at the job you work is what makes it legal. Okay. And unlike your job, in direct sales, the more you work, the more people you refer to that particular system, the more money you make. Unlike your job, it's not based on seniority. It's not based on seniority. It's based on production. And I love that because my dad used to always tell me, boy, we're the Rose. So you know what that means? It means you're the best. So I don't care what you do, but just make sure you're the best. And I took that to heart, and I thank my Lord and Savior. They gave me Harold Rhodes Sr., my dad. Okay, so like we said, 5 ways you get paid: products, the direct sales, which is just the gym membership example I told you. The third is what's going to expire tonight if you don't jump on now, which is we have this 3x10 matrix. Okay, and then as well, obviously you get paid, for your product that you have, whether it's a course, whether it's your gear, your music, whatever your products and services that you connect to this legacy network we call Vibe. So this just breaks down a compensation plan. Make sure you go ahead and get with the person who invited you to this particular presentation. They have that with you. This slide right here, like we said, you want to go ahead and get started today. Um, this is the best package right here. If you want to be able to monetize your courses, your products, your services, I don't even need to talk about anything else. Honestly, when I talk to people on the phone, I tell them, I go, man, how much is it? I go, man, what if it's $1,000 down and $1,000 a month? To be able to, I just showed you a way that you can make $25,000 a month. And that's if not one person refers somebody. If you had 1,000 people buy your course, okay, that you're teaching, and there's really value in that course, you don't think they're going to go ahead and refer one? So that means you're going to go from 1,000 to 2,000 people who are now taking your course. And at $25, I just taught you how to go from $25,000 to $50,000 a month. Man, I don't want to even talk about how much it gets you started. Obviously, if you're on my presentation right here, it's like 1/4 of what I just said. It's unbelievable. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. We're running out of time and my Zoom's about to cut off. But you know what? If you're number one, you say, hey, HD sounds good, but I want to see how it goes for you first. You want to be a spectator, you're not ready to get started, no problem. Go ahead, keep watching me on YouTube. Click, like, comment, and subscribe on my YouTube and my Facebook. And you know what, man, in the next 30 to 60 days, you change your mind, DM me, hit me up, be like, HD, I'm ready to go. I have dreams and goals. I see you're helping millions of people around the world, make all this money, and I want to join and be a blessing to my family too. Or number two, if you say, hey, you know what, I just need a little bit more information after this call, I'd love to get you on a 3-way call with my best friend, Jerome Majette, who introduced me to this platform. He wrote a book 18 years ago. After that, he started studying marketing, and he got hired on a company in which literally the company he got hired on, they're teaching high-level marketing and sales technique, attraction marketing. He's going to be teaching those classes within this ecosystem. I mean, with that alone, it's worth the fee, which is on our screen right now. I'm gonna get you on a 3-way call with him and have him answer your questions. Number 3, if you go HD, I'm just ready to get started and sign up. Like I said, DM me, text me, whatever. As I said, I'm gonna be doing blitz calls all day, and I'll go ahead, shoot you a link, give you the information to get started. Then I'll go ahead and get you on a 3-way call with my mentor, my best friend, Jerome Majette. So without any further ado, I'm about to go ahead and say thank you. I'm done with this first presentation. I love you. If you guys want more information, you know where I am. I'm out. God bless.